Okay, good morning, everybody. It's Russ here again. So, I'm going to be covering a topic this morning that I have been meaning to cover for a really, really long time, but I never did because I could never really find any specific information that would be good enough for one of my videos personally. But I think I found some pretty good articles this morning, so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be giving a very brief history of one of the more moderately known and hated churches, if you could even consider it a church, the Westboro Baptist Church, which is a church that is in Kansas, and it was founded in 1955 by a pastor who is named Fred Phelps. So I'll just start off with the Wikipedia article, even though I know that a lot of people consider Wikipedia to be fake news, and not legitimate. Okay. The Westboro Baptist Church, WBC, is an American unaffiliated primitive Baptist church in Topeka, Kansas that was founded in 1955 by Pastor Fred Phelps. It is widely considered a hate group and is known for its public protests against gay people and for its usage of the phrases "God hates." Not saying because it's a homophobic slur. And "thank God for dead soldiers." It also, I will give a hint though, it says the F slur. And Russ, what are you talking about? You said it already on stream. I'm not going to say it again. It also engages in hate speech against atheists, Jews, Muslims, transgender people, and other Christian denominations. The WBC's theology and practices are widely condemned by other Christian churches, including the Baptist World Alliance and the Southern Baptist Convention, and by politicians and public figures, including former U.S. President Barack Obama. Alright, so they have been protesting against the LGBT community for quite a long time. They started doing it in 1989. WBC has been protesting against homosexuality since 1989. Within a few years, the group expanded to protesting across the country. They often protest at public and private events, including funerals, sports games, and concerts. The group protested at the funerals for victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting and the West Nickel Mines school shooting. The group is known to deface the American flag or fly it upside down while protesting. It also draws counter-protests. Although the group's right to protest and use hate speech in the United States is protected by the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, the group has faced numerous legal challenges over its history. A 2006 act of Congress called the Respect for America's Fallen Heroes Act, created primarily due to WBC, placed restrictions on protests at some cemeteries. The 2010 to 2011 U.S. Supreme Court case, Snyder v. Phelps, shielded the group from tort liability for a 2006 protest at a military funeral. WBC also files its own lawsuits via a Phelps family law firm. 11 of Phelps' children are lawyers and has won cases that have yielded thousands of dollars for the group. Members of the group have been banned from entering Canada and the United Kingdom after attempting to protest in those countries. In 2016, Forbes stated WBC had about 70 members. The group primarily consists of members of Phelps' extended family, although many of its members have left or been excommunicated. Several family members, including Nathan Phelps and Megan Phelps Roper, have left the church and become activists against it. Fred Phelps himself was excommunicated from the church around August 2013. Before his death in 2014, a church spokesperson stated that the group did not have a defined leader for a very long time. Several former members have accused the group of brainwashing and abusive behavior. Okay, so I'll start off with the history. Okay, so Westboro Baptist Church originated as a branch of the East Side Baptist Church, which was established in 1931 on the east side of Topeka. In 1954, East Side hired Fred Phelps as an associate pastor. By 1955, Phelps was promoted to a pastor of a new East Side church plant, Westboro Baptist, on the west side of Topeka. Its first public service was held on November 27, 1955. After Westboro was established, Phelps broke ties with East Side to become independent of any Baptist denomination. His vitriolic preaching alienated most of the original congregation, who either returned to East Side or joined other congregations, leaving him with a small following consisting almost entirely of his own relatives and close friends. Phelps was a veteran of the civil rights movement in the 1960s. He founded the Phelps Chartered Law Firm in 1964, which has since been used to sue communities that are targets of Westboro's protests. Westboro Baptists first began protesting homosexuality in 1989 after the discovery of what they referred to as a tear room. Tea room? I don't know if they mean tea room or tear room, meaning a public laboratory used for homosexual interactions. The group later began picketing Gage Park, 6 blocks northwest of its headquarters in Topeka in 1991, saying it was a den of anonymous homosexual activity. Soon, its protests had spread throughout the city, and within 3 years, WBC was traveling across the country. Phelps explained in 1994 that he considered the negative reaction to the picketing to be proof of his righteousness. On August 20th, 1995, a pipe bomb exploded outside the home of Shirley Phelps Roper, who is Fred Phelps' daughter. The blast damaged an SUV, a fence, and a part of the house, but no one was injured. In 1996, 2 men were arrested for the bombing, and both admitted to causing the blast. They had believed Phelps Roper's house was that of the pastor and wanted to retaliate against Westboro's anti-gay protests at Washburn University. One of the bombers was fined $1,751 and was sentenced to 16 days in prison plus 100 hours of community service. Fred Phelps died of natural causes on March 19, 2014. His daughter Shirley said a funeral would not be held because Westboro does not worship the dead. He had previously been voted out of his leadership position, and according to representatives, the organization had no defined leader in the time leading up to his death. All right, positions and views. Westboro Baptists believe in 5-point Calvinism as reflected in the TULIP acronym that is displayed prominently at the front of the church sanctuary. They believe in limited atonement, unconditional election, and the double predestination of both the saved and the damned, which can weigh heavily on members as well as those who leave the church. According to Barrett Box, they see moral living as a sign of election, and they say they have a duty to preach to the public, not to save people who are predestined, but to spread a message of obedience to God. In her dissertation on Westboro Baptists, she labels this theology as hyper-Calvinist. They see themselves as coming from the primitive Baptist movement. Their primitive Baptist practices include their style of worship, approach to church discipline, liturgical preferences, and seeing themselves as from a separatist, anti-establishment lineage. Okay, anti-homosexuality. WBC is known for its homophobic rhetoric. The Anti-Defamation League describes the group as virulently homophobic, saying its anti-homosexual rhetoric is often a cover for anti-Semitism, anti-Americanism, racism, and hatred of other Christian groups. The Southern Poverty Law Center has added WC to a list of hate groups for its homophobia. The group has also expressed transphobic messages in its protests. Its homophobic outlook has led its members to protest LGBT pride events and funerals of those who died due to HIV/AIDS, as well as blame homosexuals for mass casualty events such as the September 11th attacks. Sounds like a real cheerful group of people. All right, I'm going to read one last thing, which is anti-Semitism. Okay. Whatever righteous cause the Jewish victims of the 1930s, 40s Nazi Holocaust had, probably minuscule compared to the Jewish Holocaust against Middle Passage blacks, African Americans, and Christians, including the bloody persecution of Westboro Baptist Church by Topeka Jews in the 1990s, has been drowned in sodomite semen. American taxpayers are financing this unholy monument to Jewish mendacity. Oh, by the way, this is something Fred Phelps said. And greed, and to filthy F slur, lust. Homosexuals and Jews dominated Nazi Germany. The Jews now wander the earth despised, smitten with moral and spiritual blindness by a divine judicial stroke. And God has smitten Jews with a certain unique madness. Jews, thus perverted out of all proportion to their numbers, energize the militant sodomite agenda. Jews are the real Nazis. Fred Phelps on the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. In 1996, Phelps began a campaign called Topeka's Baptist Holocaust, whereby he attempted to draw attention to attacks perpetrated against WBC picketers, saying they were not random but organized attacks orchestrated by Jews and homosexuals. Phelps announced Jews killed Christ, and F slur, Jew Nazis are worse than ordinary Nazis. They've had more experience. The first Holocaust was a Jewish Holocaust against Christians. The latest Holocaust is by Topeka Jews against the Westboro Baptist Church. In another statement, he said, Topeka Jews today stir up Kansas tyrants and persecuting Westboro Baptists. They whine about the Nazi Holocaust while they perpetrate the Topeka Holocaust. On March 25th, 2006, flyer regarding a Jewish adversary of Phelps uses the phrase bloody Jew 4 times and the phrase evil Jew more than once every 12 sentences. The Anti-Defamation League has criticized WBC and Phelps and keeps a sampling of WBC's flyers regarding Judaism on their website. In an interview, Margie Phelps said WBC targeted the American Jewish community because members had testified to Gentiles for 19 years that America is doomed and that now it's too late, we're done with them. She also claimed Jews were one of the loudest voices in favor of homosexuality and abortion, and that Jews claim to be God's chosen people. Do you think that God is going to wink at that forever? Phelps concluded by stating in an apparent reference to the book of Revelation that all the nations of the world would soon march on Israel and that they would be led by President Barack Obama, whom she called the Antichrist. So yeah, that's pretty much, that's a brief rundown of them and what they're like. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, been meaning to branch out into covering them for quite a bit, but I've never really gotten around to it. But now I have, because, you got to spread awareness on people like that. So I will see you all later. I hope that you all had a good Christmas. Bye.